Do you like writing stories? I bet some of you do. But I guess for some of you it's quite hard, isn't it? You know, when the teacher says, all right, I want you to write a story. And you go, huh? And you don't know where to begin, yeah, or what to put in it, or certainly you don't know how to start. Well, that's what this story is about. I love it. It's called Ralph Tells a Story. Not Roger Tells a Story. I'm Roger, but this is Ralph. Okay? And he's not going to tell it. He's going to write about his stories, but he finds it quite difficult. Okay? How old are you? Oh, you're 5. Yep, I think Ralph might be 5 too, because when you look at his handwriting, I bet it's a bit like yours. Yeah. So, this is Ralph Tells a Story, and it's by Abby Hanlon. Okay. Here we go. My teachers always say, stories are everywhere. Well, they may be for her. And the kids in my class were always finding them. Let's see what some of the children in my class are saying. Then my mum ran so fast that she caught up with the ice cream truck. And this girl, she's writing down, I like that line on the floor, and she's writing, I ran down the hallway with underwear on my head. And this boy's sharing, the dentist forgot to give me my toothbrush. And this boy's saying, after that, I decided to hide my Halloween candy in my bed. That sounds a good story, doesn't it? I'd like to know what happens there. But every day at writing time, I thought really hard. I stared at my paper. I stared at the ceiling. But I could not write a story. It's really tough. See, everybody else in the classroom, they were all writing stories and they got ideas for characters and they're all busy writing. What's she writing? I heard her say, then Grandpa gave me a cup of coffee and said, don't tell your mother. Wish my grandpa would do that. Okay? And look at this boy. Look how much he's written. Yeah, it's like a great long roll. But I'm sat there saying, I have no story. It's not fair. So I looked for other things to do. I went to the water fountain. I roamed the hallways. Miss, can I go to the toilet again? I tried everything. One day, I saw the teacher. She was putting up a big sign on the wall. It said, stories happen to those who tell them. So, after getting sent back to my desk, I begged my friend Daisy for help. I can't write a story because nothing happens to me. Are you kidding? She said. I've written a ton of stories about you. And she began pulling the stories out of her desk. Look at this one, she said. Remember the time you let me brush your hair? And this one, this is a good one. Remember the time you knocked down all the crayons? Oh, and remember the time you painted your nails with a black marker? I thought, wow, I'll never be a great writer like Daisy. Look, and here are all her stories. Yeah, I like this one. It says, then the teacher said, oh no, it's permanent marker. Then Daisy stapled all her stories together. Click, click. Wow, she said, this book is already 13 pages. Click, click. Can I use the stapler, I asked. I was really good at stapling. But you've nothing to staple, said Daisy. You have to write a story first before you can staple it. Oh, yeah. So I looked for stories out the window, in the aquarium. But I couldn't think of a story about the fish. And when my teacher wasn't looking, I looked for stories on the floor. Nothing. Still no stories. And look, everybody else. Look, Daisy, she's written her next book. It says The Sock Mystery. Wow, that sounds a good one, doesn't it? The Sock Mystery. Yeah. Lying under my desk reminded me of lying in the grass at the park. I closed my eyes and imagined I was at the park. Just like that time, a little inchworm crawled on my knee. The sun was shining right in my eyes. Squinting, I picked up the wriggly inchworm and looked at it close up. And that's when my teacher found me. "What's your story about?" she asked. I opened my eyes. I saw an inchworm." "Oh, wonderful," she said. "I can't wait to read what you wrote." But there was no inchworm story. I sat down and tried to write about the inchworm, but right away I got stuck. "Do you know any inchworm stories?" I asked Daisy. She just rolled her eyes and kept on writing. And then my teacher said, "Writers, come to the writer's rug. Time to share." "Ralph, why don't you go first?" said the teacher. I pretended that I'd lost my paper. It didn't work. "He's sitting on it," said Daisy. I walked to the front of the rug. Took a long time. I held my paper against my chest so no one could see it. "I was at the park," I said. An inchworm crawled on my knee." It was quiet. My heart went thump, 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 thump. I was just standing there. Thump, 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 thump. And that's when I looked at Daisy. And Daisy said, "Wow, really? Did it feel squishy, Ralph? Did you take it home?" And then everybody started asking me questions. "Did your mum let you keep it? Did you touch it? Was it a baby? Was it a girl? Did it tickle? Did you name it?" Wait a minute, I thought. Something did happen with that inchworm. Well, I picked up the inchworm and decided to name him Nick. I built Nick a house, but he just inched away. So I followed him, which is why I didn't notice that someone was following me. And then all of a sudden, this wobbly, crazy baby grabbed Nick and put him in his diaper. Whee! I tried to be calm. "Come on, baby," I said, really nicely. "Give Ralphie the inchworm." It didn't work. Was this the end of Nick? But then I noticed Nick was escaping. He crawled right up the baby's stomach. Quickly, I rescued Nick and ran. And we spent the rest of the afternoon doing nothing together. The end. Everybody clapped and cheered. "Show the picture, Ralph," someone said. Even my teacher said, "Wonderful. Wow. Hooray. Well done, Ralph." I even high-fived with Daisy. Yeah, I'm a writer. I wasn't embarrassed anymore, and so I did. I showed them the picture. Look, there it says, Ralph, that's my name. I was at the P-R-K, park. Yeah. Wow. That was last year. This year, I write stories all the time. I keep finding stories everywhere. Oh, yeah. So, now that I'm a writer, I've actually shared some writing tips which you might find helpful, because I expect you'll have to go back to school at some point and your teacher will say, write a story. Okay, so I'm going to share some of my tips. Number one, get comfortable. That's very helpful. Number 2, it's okay to ask for help. This is me asking Daisy, what was that funny thing I did again? Because your friends can often remember the things that you've forgotten. 3, you can always write about what you had for breakfast, if you get really stuck, you know. And number 4, eat lots of chocolate. Well, that's not really helpful writing, but it's nice to eat chocolate, isn't it? So, eat chocolate. So now I've done lots of books, and I've got here. These are my stories. So if you wanted to read them, you could. I'm just going to show you a couple. Okay. When milk came out of my nose, yeah, that was quite interesting. Okay. The smelly Band-Aid, had it on for a week. Okay. The inchworm returns. That's what they call a sequel. Yeah, that's a really big story. That. Okay. Daisy's embarrassing birthday party. Oh, that was really embarrassing. For her, not for me. When my baby brother ate hot sauce. Yeah. The scariest hamster. Look, I've done an illustration here because that's always nice when you add pictures. The scariest hamster. And what else? Oh, the marker that never ran out. That was a good one. The shampoo mystery. Oh, yeah, my mother said I had to write that one because she didn't know where the shampoo had gone. And last of all, when my mum bought me the wrong size underwear. It was really big, kept falling down. Yeah. So, those are some of my stories. So maybe you can go away now and you could try writing some of your stories, and I hope you have as much fun as I do. See ya. Don't forget to staple them together when you've got a lot of stories. Okay. Ciao.